From November 25th, 2025, this year, to December 2nd, they're calling it a mass blackout. Not a march, not a protest, no signs necessary. It's 1 week where we pull our dollars out of the system and see what happens when the economy feels the weight of our absence. Because we've marched, we've begged, most of us voted the right way. And now we're just going to sit back and test the one thing this country truly worships: money. See, this isn't the first time we've tried this, right? Economic boycotts have always been the heartbeat of real change, from Montgomery to Operation Breadbasket. When the buses lost money, segregation fell. When companies realized ignoring Black consumers meant losing profit, they started hiring, promoting, and pandering. History has already shown us that pulling our dollars hits harder than any speech, any march, any protest ever could. The timing isn't random. Black Friday is the biggest spending weekend in America. Billions get poured into corporations that barely reinvest in the communities that made them rich in the first place. So from November 25th to December 2nd, the goal is simple, okay? Buy nothing that doesn't circulate back into us. You hear me? Support small, support local, support Black. Because when we withhold our dollars, we remind this country that we're not just consumers. We are the economy. So yeah, the mass blackout isn't about canceling Christmas or skipping joy. It's about shifting power and realizing that every dollar that we spend is a vote for the world that we live in. They've ignored our voices. They've ignored our pain. Let's see if they ignore our absence. We're not asking anymore. We are shutting this shit down. Okay? No spending. If you do need something, make sure you go to farmers market, support small businesses. There's a ton of places that you can go to make sure you support the right people, not corporations. We are done.
Grand rising kings and queens from Africa and across the ocean, welcome back to my YouTube commentary. I am the Kenyan Beast and we are doing it the African way every day, every time. Now, I'm diving into something: mass economic blackout in America. I have seen a lot of Americans reacting on this, more so Black people reacting on this, and that's why I got so much interested.
So I saw a lady on here and she was saying from November the 25th to December the 2nd, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be something called a massive blackout. That's where we take our money and we just keep it in our pockets. Did y'all see what y'all did when y'all boycotted Walmart, Target, Hulu, Disney World? Well, imagine what we can do when we come together and just keep our Black dollars in our pockets. Because as y'all know, that's what the world worship, those dollars. I mean, some of us, we have to have money to live. And then some of it, some other people, like the people that's in Trump administration and the other people that got money, they ain't doing nothing but abusing that money. Just, they get to throw away their money every day while we down here trying to figure out what our next move is going to be. So, from November the 25th to December the 2nd, keep your dollars in your pocket. Let's show the world. Like, by not, we all should be tired of this bullshit. So, remember, from November the 25th to December the 2nd, we keeping our what and our what?
I say let me pass information because I listened to some comments of Americans, Black Americans, talking about how they want to sabotage or how they want to went into an economic strike, an economic blackout. And I got some sense out of it. One, because I'll say this: they are not going to march, as they have said. They are not going to protest. No signs, no megaphones, just silence, but economic silence. It is something, it's not the first time they are doing this, but it is something that is going to shake the system because it is dangerous to the system. America is heading into a mass economic blackout, and the reason behind it exposes the truth people have been denying for generations, that the system was built on exploitation, and now that exploitation is collapsing, now the country is collapsing. Let's watch these clips here. These are reactions of Americans, Black Americans, talking about the economic blackout they're planning in November 25th. If you haven't here, anything about it. Now you are hearing it for the first time.
Many of us are frustrated by these 8 Democrats who caved, but what it is highlighting is that there is a strong necessity for change, a revolution, but you have to be willing to sacrifice your convenience, because convenience is complacency and change needs courage to be its catalyst. We can say we want a revolution, but revolutions are not born from comfort. They are born from clarity, from realizing that we have been taught to chase the very things that are trying to keep us distracted and divided. And this holiday season, we're going to have to send a very loud message by being as fiscally silent as possible. These billionaires and people in charge are trying to get more and more while we get less and less. Food lines are growing. Healthcare is becoming unattainable. And they want to stretch you so thin that you have no choice but to concede to them and concede all your freedom so they can give you scraps. Well, we got a trick for them, because there's a mass blackout being organized, a protest by the people, for the people, that's going through the holidays. And I'm with it, because when we withhold what they expect, our dollars, our impulse, we remind them who really fuels this economy. And here's the tabulation to go along with it. Exorbitant spending is not necessary to enjoy the holidays. That is a lie we were sold. A tradition that is built on transaction. But joy does not live in your receipt, in your shopping cart, or is not sit 24 hours through Amazon Prime. It lives in your living room. It lives with the laughter of your family, which costs nothing, in the sound of gathered people enjoying one another, good music, spades, whatever you're going to do. And the thought and the knowledge that you made it another year. Come on. That's wealth. That's abundance. That's enough. We become too reliant on material things that measure our happiness. But maybe the revolution is realizing that simplicity is strength, and that it doesn't need packaging. So this year I'm doing it differently. If I give anything, it'll be something made, something that feels like me. And if you want to give me something, the older I get, I say pay a bill. You let that be the gift, because I promise security will mean more than any sweater or perfume or whatever could. So ask somebody, do they have food in their fridge? Ask them if they're doing all right. Give people something that gives again. When you bless somebody, they tend to bless somebody else down the line. And that's how the chain of blessings begins. So this holiday season, do that. Don't let it start with sales, but with solidarity. Let this blackout be not about lack, but about liberation, not about skipping joy, but about redefining it, and about becoming the leaders that you want to be. All this conversation been swirling around talking about who's going to be in charge next and primarying people, and that's necessary because that's how our government works. But we should be recognized that we may not run for office, but we are all effective leaders of the United States of America. We are the current that keeps this country flowing. And if we unplug altogether, then they'll finally see who's holding the switch. So I say, lead where you are, love when you can, and live like you mean it, because the greatest gift you can give this season is the proof that joy can't be bought but built. That's the revolution. And you got to ask yourself, are you ready for it?
Okay, so y'all, are we doing this mass blackout thing or not? Because I'm all the way down. I think the mayor of Chicago, he was talking about it, and I've heard a couple other people talking about we not shopping, we not spending no money this holiday season. I want to say it's supposed to start like November, the early November, going all the way to the first of the year. And we need to stick to this, y'all, because everything is out of control. Everything is way overpriced, and none of us are benefiting from anything that's going on right now in the government. So the corporations, at the end of the day, we need to collectively as a people say, look, if I'm fucked up, you fucked up, and we're going to all be fucked up together. Okay? So the super ultra rich, y'all going to be we're going to teach you how to be fucked up, since the rest of us are going to be fucked up. And most of us ain't even going to have no money to really be shopping like that this holiday season anyway, because everything's so goddamn expensive. The government is more concerned. Right now, they more concerned about revoking gay marriage rights than they are the fucking economy, what people actually care about, which is their money in their pockets. They're not worried about, oh, well, people ain't getting jobs and can barely pay their bills. They're worried about gay marriage. Shit that nobody cares about. No, let's focus on getting this money, and I'm going to still marry whoever I want to marry.
If you haven't heard about the liberals' new protest, then I'm going to tell you about it, and it is hilarious. Number one, they are planning a mass blackout. According to this little poster that they have going on from November 25th to December 2nd, they're not going to be doing any of these things. Do you know what this means? This means that for one whole week, we're going to be liberal free. They're not going to be at restaurants, grocery stores. Suddenly, I want to go to Disney World. Is Disney World open in November? Drop in the comments and tell me if it is. I've never been. Anyways, make sure you share this to a liberal so that they know we support them. And then maybe start applying for some jobs around November 24th because they're going to need some of those spots filled when liberals don't show up for work. I have always wanted to be a clown. And something tells me there's going to be a lot of openings. Support liberals. Support the mass blackout.
We have a very urgent message. The People's Sick Day have chosen dates. That's right, everyone. It's go time. And I need everyone to help me spread the message. But there are some things that changed, and I'm going to tell you why. From the beginning of us calling the People's Sick Day, we have said that we are going to do a 3-day economic and labor blackout. We wanted to shut down for 3 days, and we only wanted to give a 48-hour notice. Of course, we thought this is the most strategic thing to do. They don't see us coming. We only give a short amount of time. We wait until we get enough people to make the impact that we need, and then we call the dates. But let's be honest. Look around you. Shit's moving, and it's moving fast. Other organizations are calling dates for November 25th to December 2nd, and we decided that that is the time we need to move as well. We have to set our egos to the side. Everyone needs to be doing this at the exact same time. So we push all of our egos to the side, and we are joining up with those dates for the most impact. That is the goal. If we don't stand up and do something, millions of people are going to be without food. Millions of people are going to be without health care. This is not getting any better. So it's time for us to take action now, united, no matter what. Even if it's not done the way that we wanted it done, we get it done. So everyone, spread the word far and wide. It is time to take the organized labor blackout. Now it's time for every other organization to jump on board. We don't have any more time. So this is a call out to not only help spread the message, but to hold these other organizations accountable. It's time to make the move. Every content creator, every person with a platform, if you're not picking this up and you're not pushing this message, why? Why are you not joining us? Time is running out. You know it. I know it. So let's go.
Remember, if you're planning on participating in this 2025 mass economic blackout that's happening from November the 25th to December 2nd, remember that's a whole week of not spending any money. So it's imperative that you do certain things ahead of time. And one is paying all of your bills ahead of that week. If you have any payment arrangements, make sure the payment arrangements is after that time, if you can push it out to that time. Because trust me, I truly understand and overstand when it comes to paying bills and making payment arrangements. So do whatever you need to do to try to pay for it ahead of time or after time, if you can do so. I understand if you cannot. The second thing, make sure you have all of your survival essentials. Food, water, meds, food for you and your family, food for your fur babies, and food for anyone who may come to your home and need food that you can help. So make sure you have survival essentials, food, water, meds. Not only for the human people, but don't forget about your fur babies as well. Make sure you go ahead and purchase all of those things ahead of time as well. And make sure you have those things stocked. Make sure you have your non-perishable items. Make sure you have your rice and beans. Make sure you have your oats. Make sure you have your shelf-stable milk that can sit on the shelf until you're ready. Honey that never goes bad. Organic honey, that is. Make sure you have your herbs. Make sure you have your medications that you need, your family needs, your fur babies need, the infants need, the elderly need. Make sure you have infant supplies. Do you have all the milk that you need? Do you have the Pampers, the diapers that you need? Just make sure you have your essentials. Don't wait until the last minute, because remember, that's going to be a whole week. And this whole week is really going to show people what they can do and what they can't do and what they need help with. because actually this is a good test to test our self-control. So not only is it sending a collective message that we are the economy, we are the consumers, but we are the economy, but it's also going to show each one of us some things about our own personal self-control that we may want to.
I know you weren't about to scroll, as I'm about to tell you the most important piece of information of the day. I've been tagged in all kinds of videos about this, so I'm going to speak on it. The mass blackout, which is happening from November 25th to December 2nd, I'm all in. I'm engaging, I'm participating. I'll be advocating for this with the Big Beautiful Boycott. We'll be pushing that information in our Discord as well as on our website once it's up and running. The People's Sick Day, who I have also advocated for that movement and their leadership, they've picked these dates as well. All of us, we're all coming together because we have to be one unified front. I'm going to go through the list of asks. You guys are going to flip out. That's fine, but I'm asking you to stay with me because I have a plan for you on the other end of this. First and foremost, if you want to take your country back, all you got to do is hit the pockets of the millionaires, billionaires, and the regime at the helm right now. They speak two languages, money and power. They hold hands. If you take away money, they don't have power. So the asks are this: no work. We'll talk about it. Don't flip out. No spending, no restaurants twice, by the way, super important. We don't need to go out to a restaurant to eat. We don't need DoorDash and we don't need Uber Eats. I lived in the 90s. I know there wasn't that. No projects, no events. Let's talk about what all of this means and how to prepare for it. I've put together a checklist. All you have to do is follow the checklist and we'll be good to go. I'm also going to put this picture of this checklist in the comments, so make sure you boost that so it stays at the top, and also make sure you save a copy for yourself. Number one, essentials and groceries. People got to eat during this time, right? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to stock up on food, household items, and medications prior to November 25th. Now, we don't want there to be a surge in spending prior to the blackout. So what we're asking is that you buy from local or community-owned stores whenever possible, and you only buy exactly what you need to get through that brief period of time. Number two, your finances. Make sure you pay your bills and complete essential purchases before the blackout period. We're not going above and beyond. We don't need to spend more than we usually do. Just make sure everything that is going to be due during that time is taken care of. We are going to avoid large corporate spending during November 25th to December 2nd. If you must spend, you need to do it within a local business, a small business, something like that. We are not going to engage with major corporations. Now, work is where people get a little bit hesitant. So we're just going to ask that you do what you can. If you have PTO that you can use, that you can take some days off, do it. If you can't, well, then you're still showing up, but you're doing only the essential work. You're not going above and beyond. You're not going in early. You're not staying late. You are taking that full hour lunch break. Whatever your setup is, you are doing the bare minimum, because by doing the bare minimum, you are actually taking longer for money to move through the process. You know what I'm saying? We are also going to pause anything that's optional, whether it is deliveries or a project or something that can be put on the back burner, it gets put on the back burner. The other thing too is if you can't miss work, I get it. You need to make sure you're engaging in the economic blackout part of this, that you're not spending. Now, let's go to number 4, which is communication and awareness. So we are going to inform our friends, our family, anyone that we interact with on a daily basis of our plans for spending or work, because it is going to fall. Yes, it's going to fall over Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all of those important things. You need to let people know why you are not spending, and maybe encourage them to join you, okay? You need to share this information responsibly, focusing on the peaceful, legal parts of it. Go ahead and share this video, repost this video, make your own video. I don't care how the information gets out. If you feel like you can't do any of the, asks, at least push this information out for others. And then last but not least, after the blackout, we are going to resume spending with independent and local businesses. We are getting away from the corporate overlords, if you will. And after this blackout is a really good time to return to the Big Beautiful Boycott page, which will be up by then, and make sure you are following along with the companies that we are officially boycotting and have officially vetted for their participation in supporting this regime. So I hope all of that makes sense. If you have questions, put them in the comments below and I'll try to do a video response, because I'm sure I left some things out. It's go time. Block your calendars out. November 25th is go time.
From November 25th, 2025, this year, to December 2nd, they're calling it a mass blackout. Not a march, not a protest, no signs necessary. It's 1 week where we pull our dollars out of the system and see what happens when the economy feels the weight of our absence. Because we've marched, we've begged, most of us voted the right way. And now we're just going to sit back and test the one thing this country truly worships: money. See, this isn't the first time we've tried this, right? Economic boycotts have always been the heartbeat of real change, from Montgomery to Operation Breadbasket. When the buses lost money, segregation fell. When companies realized ignoring Black consumers meant losing profit, they started hiring, promoting, and pandering. History has already shown us that pulling our dollars hits harder than any speech, any march, any protest ever could. The timing isn't random. Black Friday is the biggest spending weekend in America. Billions get poured into corporations that barely reinvest in the communities that made them rich in the first place. So from November 25th to December 2nd, the goal is simple, okay? Buy nothing that doesn't circulate back into us. You hear me? Support small, support local, support Black. Because when we withhold our dollars, we remind this country that we're not just consumers. We are the economy. So yeah, the mass blackout isn't about canceling Christmas or skipping joy. It's about shifting power and realizing that every dollar that we spend is a vote for the world that we live in. They've ignored our voices. They've ignored our pain. Let's see if they ignore our absence. We're not asking anymore. We are shutting this shit down. Okay? No spending. If you do need something, make sure you go to farmers market, support small businesses. There's a ton of places that you can go to make sure you support the right people, not corporations. We are done.
But why are we giving them a heads up? We're supposed to be shutting them down, not giving them a schedule. There is a planned economic blackout November 25th to December 2nd, withholding labor, dollars, and time until the system listens, which is fantastic. I'm so glad people are finally on the economic blackout wave. But if they know it's coming and they know when, they can dodge it, prepare to cushion, adapt, maybe even profit from the pause. So why are we waiting until November 25th? So if you're down to start the blackout now, here's what you can do. Spend and shop locally. Cancel a subscription. Stop working extra hours. Shift your money to people's banks. If you can't shut down your job, redirect your money. If you redirect your spending, you're still participating. This should not just be about 1 week. The point is that we're supposed to be building a parallel economy, one that works for the people, the small, the middle class, and the lower class. A people economy that does not feed the same machine. So why are we waiting for permission? Don't wait for permission. Move now. Don't give them time to prepare. Do it now. Don't RSVP our oppression. Stop dating the system.
The Democrats have surrendered to Trump and the Republicans, so now it is up to the American people to fight for themselves. The first test as to whether the U.S. people want to live free or under Republican fascism takes place 25 November through 2 December, the mass blackout. It targets the biggest spending days of the year. Here is the action. Do not shop. Do not stream. Do not travel. Do not work. Do not participate in the Republican economy. On 30 November, use only small local stores and pay cash. The idea is to pull money and labor out at the exact moment the economy expects the opposite. Here's what participation looks like. Skip Black Friday. Skip Cyber Monday. Cut subscriptions. Delay every purchase. Treat the entire week as a freeze. The coalition behind this is real. Blackout the system. People's Sick Day. American Opposition. The Money Out of Politics Movement. Progressive Network, and others. The reach is in the hundreds of thousands, and national outlets are already concerned. This is where you, Americans, decide which side you are on. And if you cannot go a few days without shopping, you deserve the dictatorship you get. Find out more at blackoutthesystem.com.
Welcome back. Now, let me start with the simple truth here. When people stop spending, the empire starts shaking. That is the reality. And the whole point of this, behind this behind this economic blackout, is not because people want to ruin the holidays. No, it's because they are angry for some reasons. Not for no reasons, but for some reasons. And one of these reasons is America has finally reached a point where they are realizing something critical, that the system only listens to the language of money. Now, for decades, people marched, people begged, People voted, protested, and again, they posted. But nothing happened. For decades, nothing changed. Nothing changed in corruption, in greed. Nothing changed in the suffering of everyday working families. But right now, they are turning to one pressure point of the system. And this is one of the pressure points that the system actually fears, stopping the flow of the money. Economists call this economic civil disobedience. Sociologists call it collective resistance. Pan-African thinkers, we call it economic warfare, the kind used to oppress or reclaim power. I think so. So this blackout isn't coming from politicians. It is not coming from elites, no, but it is coming from the regular people. These are mothers, fathers, workers, students, black communities, poor communities, people who are tired of watching billionaires suck the nation dry. America is built on consumer spending, and that's why we always say when each and every black person move out of America, something will shake the country. So when consumer stops just for 1 week to spend, the system feels the terror. And that's what scares them the most. Another thing, let me talk about how the system is collapsing because it was built on lies. We have been talking about this all the time, but the reality is this system doesn't fall apart because of one protest, no, or fall apart because of one president. It fall apart because it was never sustainable. From way back, for 400 years, America built its power on stolen land, stolen labor, stolen wealth, and stolen futures. That is the foundation of America, which is exploitation. And as every historian from Dr. John Henry Clark to Howard Zinn has said, a system built on theft must eventually pay its debt. The empire was built on extracting wealth from the very people it now expects to save it. And right now, those people are pulling backs. They are saying no more. And family, let me tell you this. This thing that you are planning to do as black Americans or as Americans is shaking white supremacy to its core. And the reason why it is shaking white supremacy is because the entire structure of elitism depends on ordinary people. Everything depends on ordinary people just to stay asleep. On people working endlessly, depends on people spending blindly, depends on people being too tired to fight back, depends on people being too divided to unite. And I'm looking forward for unity of all Americans, all black Americans to unite and start this one. This way it will show me that we are going somewhere. For example, as Africa, we are going somewhere because if black Americans stand tall and say no to this and say no to this and yes to this, that means that we are shaping the entire region. Now, let me talk about the elite, the billionaires. These are the people who get tax breaks, are the people who get special treatment, are the people who get bailouts packages, are the people who get forgiven loans, the rich people, the billionaires. But the burden goes to someone else. The burden fall to the janitors. The burden fall to the immigrants, to the people who make the country run, to the nurse working double shift, to the delivery workers. That's where it all goes. And the elite found a way just to enjoy luxury while giving the average American crumbs. Price rise, wages stagnant, rent skyrocketing, gas becomes burden. There's a lot of things that is going on. And while everyone is struggling, their children are somewhere in a private school, private parties with the money they extracted from the public. And this is why there is a blackout matter. That's why there's an outbreak of economic shutdown. And let me tell you, while they're enjoying and you having a healthcare as a crisis, it means one thing: you are financing your own oppression. Now, another thing, black people in America hold close 1.7 trillion in spending only. Okay? Only. So if black Americans were a country, it will be one of the richest nations in the world. But here's the thing. Most of the money doesn't circulate in black communities. It leaves immediately. It feeds corporate that didn't respect black people. And it's doing even worse. The same system that profits from black money, criminalizes black communities, underpays black workers, and underestimate black intelligence. Okay? This is why black economic boycotts have always scared the system. Okay? Now, the elites pretend everything is fine. The politicians lie for the cameras. The news sugarcoats it. The corporation distract people with sales and marketing. But the data doesn't lie. Real wages right now in America are very low. Today, they are very low than how it was in 1950s. Okay? Just a single income can barely support a household. Economists call it late stage capitalism. You know, the point where the system becomes so greedy that it collapses under its own weight, like how Rome did. And when the system collapses, the people who have always been exploited feel the front. Okay? Africa have lived through colonial economic sabotage, through elite corruption, through foreign interference. Africans have lived in this for ages. So when America say that the elites are exploiting us, Africans respond, yes, it is true. We know that. Because the fall of one oppressive economy, it is the system forces others to shift. Okay? Now, because Africa has the opportunity to rise, Africa has the opportunity to rebuild, Africa has the opportunity to do anything you gotta do because you got everything. So this is where your Pan-African message becomes powerful. Economic unity is not optional. It is survival, and we need to survive this one. We need to survive what's going on in Africa. You need to survive what's going on in America. They need to survive what's going on in Caribbeans. And when black Americans stop spending, it sends a ripple. Corporation panic, politicians panic, investors panic, media panics. Okay? So what this economic mass protest is all about is just about to tell the world that, you know what? We know what you are doing, and we wanna see what you are doing. I think that's all I got to say today because I have a lot of things to say, but I want to meet us to the next episode because so that we can talk more.